I have 3 enemies. One slept with my fiancée, one scammed me out of my money, and one wants me dead. I marry my enemy's beautiful sister. It wasn't long before they all died, one by one, in bizarrely similar ways. And me? I ended up marrying my enemy's beautiful sister, and my life has never been better. My first enemy was named Dylan Cole. He was my fiancée's ex-boyfriend. A few days ago, he broke into her apartment, drugged her, and raped her. Afterward, he had the gall to send me a text, a public humiliation. Damn, your fiancé is something else. So soft, so responsive. I was shaking with rage. I wanted to call the cops, to have the bastard arrested. But he threatened me. Jacob, I've got video. You call the police, I release it. Mutually assured destruction. Your precious fiancée won't be able to show her face in public again. My face went pale with fury. Was I supposed to just swallow this? To just wear the horns he'd put on my head? Then another text from Dylan came through. Look, Jake, I know you own that digital marketing agency. You're not hurting for cash. Give me $300,000, and I'll disappear from your lives forever. Otherwise, I'll keep coming around, reminding your fiancée what she's missing. You don't want her to live in fear, do you? If I gave him the money, would he just keep coming back for more? 40,000? 50? You don't worry about a thief who steals once. You worry about the one who knows where you live. How could I live with that hanging over my head? It was simpler to just kill him. End it, once and for all. The next morning, I was at home, having breakfast with my fiancée, Ava. My phone buzzed. It was a picture from Dylan. Ava, her eyes hazy, lying on her bed, and he was sitting right next to her, his filthy hand stroking her pale white thigh. It was followed by a video clip, him leaning over her, kissing her flushed cheek. My entire body trembled. My lips went white. When Ava saw the picture and video, she completely broke down, collapsing onto the table in a storm of sobs. After a long moment, she grabbed my phone and sent a tearful voice message, screaming at him. You're an animal. I'm going to the police. Dylan's reply was instant. Go ahead. You report me. I post the videos. Let's see how your friends and family feel when they know your dirty little secret. Think about your parents back in their small town. You'll be the talk of the town. They won't be able to look anyone in the eye. Ava's hand was shaking so badly she could barely hold the phone. Dylan was enjoying himself. About even better stuff. Want to see? My voice was low and tight. What the hell do you want? Dylan, simple. $300,000. And I'm gone. Me. And if I give it to you, you'll really leave? Dylan, my word. If you don't want your fiancée's life to be ruined, you'll get me the money. Fast. Ava's eyes were red and swollen. Don't give him a dime, Jake. I'd rather die than let him win. With that, she bolted for the window, ready to jump. I lunged forward and grabbed her, holding her tight. Don't do this. I'll figure something out. She looked at me, her eyes bloodshot. What are you going to do? I'm going to kill him, I said. Dylan lived alone in the old Millview apartments, over by the industrial park. It was a rundown complex with few security cameras, the perfect place to get something done. I'm 5'10", 160 pounds, and I trained in Krav Maga for 3 years. Killing him wouldn't be hard. Anyone who's killed knows it's not just about skill. It's about your state of mind. You have to get over the psychological hurdle first. I spent 2 full days mentally preparing myself before I finally committed to it. Killing is also physically demanding. You need to eat, keep your strength up. I went to Leo's diner near my office and ordered a patty melt, 2 bites of the greasy sandwich, a sip of hot coffee, and I felt a wave of comfort and energy wash over me. Right then my phone buzzed. It was Dylan. Hey man, come over to my place. We can talk. If $300K is too steep, maybe we can negotiate. Me, fine. I'll be there in a bit. Dylan, great brother. I'll be waiting. I went back to my office, grabbed a switchblade from my desk drawer, and slipped it into my pocket. At 6:50 p.m., I drove to his apartment complex, parking my car in a camera blind spot. I felt the cool steel of the switchblade in my pocket, got out, and walked into the building. I found his unit, the door slightly ajar. I pushed it open, pulling the knife from my pocket and flicking the blade out, ready to gut him. But the bastard wasn't home. He didn't answer his phone, didn't reply to my texts. I had no idea where he'd gone. I waited for another 10 minutes, but he never showed. I folded the knife, put it away, and left. I just have to kill him tomorrow. The next afternoon, just as I was getting ready to head back to Dylan's place, 2 detectives, a man and a woman, walked into my office. They told me Dylan Cole was dead. I was stunned. I hadn't even touched him. How could he be dead? Did some good Samaritan do my job for me? Who killed him? I asked. The male detective pulled out a pair of handcuffs. You tell me. I froze. What's that supposed to mean? You don't seriously think it was me? We wouldn't be here without evidence, Mr. Ross, he said. We hope you'll cooperate with our investigation. Don't resist. I was speechless, but I knew better than to fight. I let them take me to the station. They took my fingerprints and a hair sample, then led me to an interrogation room. The male detective's name was Mark Baldwin, lead detective for the county's Criminal Investigation Division. He had a square jaw and a serious, unblinking stare. He fixed his eyes on me and asked coldly, "Why did you kill Dylan Cole? What evidence do you have that I did?" The female detective, Sarah Jenkins, sighed as if I were wasting her time. "Since you're playing dumb, let's go over it," she said. "We got a call at 8 this morning about a homicide at the Millview Apartments. The victim was Dylan Cole. We haven't found his body, but we found a significant amount of his blood in his apartment, along with your fingerprints. We also found a switchblade in a dumpster near the building. It had Cole's blood and your prints on it, too. We ran a background check on Cole. His ex-girlfriend is your current fiancée. Our working theory is that Cole was trying to get back with her, causing you some distress. You lost your temper, killed him, and then disposed of the body. And security footage confirms you entered his apartment complex yesterday, around 6:50 p.m. You had plenty of time. You also deliberately parked your car in a camera blind spot, which is highly suspicious. So, tell us, Mr. Ross, where did you hide Dylan Cole's body?" I hadn't done it, but Dylan was dead, and all the evidence pointed directly at me. It was clear someone was trying to frame me. The real killer was smart, setting up a perfect stage that not only eliminated Dylan, but also made me the fall guy. If I couldn't prove my innocence, I was screwed 6 ways from Sunday. Luckily, I had an ace up my sleeve. I pulled out my burner phone and showed Detective Baldwin a video. It was a single long take. The timestamp started at 6:53 p.m. last night. It recorded everything, from me getting out of my car, walking to Dylan's apartment, trying to contact him inside, waiting for him, and finally leaving the complex and driving home. The video was irrefutable proof. I had never even seen Dylan at his apartment, let alone killed him. I was innocent. Dylan and I had some issues, I explained. He invited me over yesterday, and I was worried it was a setup. I figured I should record our meeting, just in case he tried to attack me. It would be evidence if I needed to press charges. That's why I filmed the whole thing. Baldwin saw the logic in my story. Not long after, they let me go. Even though I hadn't killed Dylan myself, he was dead. The biggest threat in my life was gone. This was a good thing, a cause for celebration. I went home, ordered a patty melt and 3 skewers of lamb from takeout place, and washed it all down with 3 glasses of fruit juice. I was in a great mood. My fiancée, Ava, came over. She saw how happy I was and looked surprised. "Jake, what's with you?" I smiled. "Dylan's dead. No one's ever going to threaten you again." She looked dumbfounded. "What? Dylan's dead?" "That's right," I said. "The police just told me." "Are you serious?" she asked. "How do they know for sure? Did they find a body?" "Not yet," I said. "They're still looking. I'm sure they'll find it soon." As if on cue, a post popped up on the local r/Riverton subreddit. Someone was reporting that a burned body had been found at an abandoned chemical plant on the west side of town. The body was charred beyond recognition, a gruesome sight. I suspected it was Dylan. I showed Ava the news on my phone. "Look, they found him. Dylan's really dead." Ha ha ha. Ava stared at the screen, her face ashen. Her eyes filled with an unmistakable, unsuppressible grief. Dylan was dead. Shouldn't she be happy? Why would she be sad? Because the person she loved was never me. It was Dylan. She and Dylan were a team, a regular Bonnie and Clyde specializing in marriage scams. Her plan was to play the part of the perfect, doting wife, serving my every need like I was a king. Once I was completely hooked and couldn't live without her, she'd start reeling me in. First, she'd lie about being assaulted by Dylan and blackmailed with a video. Then, she'd let Dylan extort me for every penny I had before they moved on to their next target. How did I know about this venomous woman's ugly truth? Because the apartment Ava was living in was mine, and I had secretly installed hidden cameras throughout the place. I like to watch people. Every move she made was under my surveillance, but she had no idea. She was a viper, but I was no saint. A month ago, Dylan got out of jail after a 6-month stint. The first thing he did was find Ava. That very night, they started plotting how to get money out of me. I saw right through Ava's act, but I never let on. I wanted to see what kind of game the two of them would play. Soon enough, they started working together, coming up with all sorts of reasons to milk me for cash, but I never took the bait. They were getting frustrated. A couple of nights ago, Dylan secretly went over to Ava's place, complaining. "Now what? You faked a suicide attempt, and he's still not giving up the money. We need another plan fast." Ava gave him a wicked smile. "Oh, I've had another plan ready for a while." "What is it?" Dylan asked. "Jake's marketing agency is doing really well," Ava said. "I'm thinking we put him away, and then we take over his company. I'll be the boss." Dylan was shocked, but also excited. Whoa, you're really going for it, huh? What do you need me to do? Ava smugly laid out her plan. Tomorrow night, you're going to stage a crime scene at your place. Spill some of your blood under the coffee table. Then invite Jake over. Make sure he leaves some fingerprints and footprints. After he leaves, you go hide out at the abandoned chemical plant on the west side. The next morning, I'll take the switchblade with Jake's prints and your blood on it and drop it in a dumpster near your apartment. Then I'll make an anonymous call to the police to frame Jake. With all that evidence, the cops will definitely suspect Jake went to your place and killed you. They'll hold him for at least 12 hours. That night, I'll come find you at the plant. You'll be the star witness, swearing that Jake kidnapped and imprisoned you. With physical evidence and a witness, Jake won't be able to talk his way out of it. Dylan's eyes lit up with excitement. My brilliant Ava. You're one of a kind. Ava just smiled coolly. You think I can't handle him? I had to admit, it was a devious plan. If I hadn't installed those cameras, I would have walked right into their trap. But for every devil, there's a demon one step higher. Not only did Dylan fail to put me away, he ended up as a charred corpse. You want to play games with me? You're not ready. I didn't expose Ava. Instead, I feigned curiosity. What's wrong, Ava? Why are you so sad? That piece of trash Dylan is dead. Shouldn't you be happy? Ava quickly composed herself, forcing a weak, fake smile. Well, it's still a human life, you know. I scoffed. A normal person's life is a human life. A scumbag like that doesn't count. You're right, she said with another fake smile. He deserved to die. I watched her carefully and saw a flicker of murderous intent in her eyes. I knew she would do everything in her power to get back at me, to avenge Dylan. Fine by me. Let's play. We'll see who gets the last laugh. The next evening, Ava brought her younger sister, Chloe, to my place. She said Chloe was a junior in college, home for the summer with nothing to do, and was looking for an internship. She asked if I needed an assistant. Sure, I said. Chloe was about 5'7", with delicate features, fair skin, and a bright, cheerful personality. She was like a vibrant, dew-kissed rose. That night, the three of us drank quite a bit. I'm not a big drinker and was soon drunk. I told them I was going to my room to lie down. I don't know how much time passed, but I woke up feeling thirsty. I rolled over and realized someone was lying next to me. I looked closer. It was Chloe. What was she doing in my bed? I had to admit, her features were even more exquisite than Ava's, her skin smoother. She radiated a youthful energy that was utterly captivating. She was wearing a low-cut, black silk nightgown, its sheer fabric hinting at the curves beneath. It was incredibly alluring. My first instinct was to lean down and bury my face in the soft skin of her neck. But I controlled myself. I didn't cross that line, not because I have any great moral fiber, but because I knew this was another one of Ava's schemes. She'd gotten Chloe drunk, slipped her into my bed as bait, and as soon as I took it, she'd call the cops and have me arrested for sexual assault or rape. How did I know all this? Because I wasn't drunk at all. I had only pretended to be. After getting to my room, I pulled out my phone and watched the living room through the hidden camera feed. I saw Ava slip a sleeping pill into Chloe's drink when she wasn't looking. Once Chloe was fast asleep, Ava changed her into the sexy nightgown, carried her to my bed, and even placed a hidden video camera in my room. She was just waiting for me to fall into her trap. This woman was truly ruthless, willing to sacrifice her own sister just to get to me. I left my room and went next door, finding Ava. I put on a confused expression. Ava, why is Chloe in my room? Ava feigned surprise. What? Chloe's in your room? You didn't do anything to her, did you? I frowned, my face serious. Of course not. I'm not that kind of person. Ava went on the offensive. How did she end up in your room? I put her in the guest room. I smiled slightly. Are you sure you didn't get the rooms mixed up? Ava gave an awkward laugh. Oh, maybe I had too much to drink and got confused. Look, why don't you sleep in my room tonight? I'll go stay with her. I smiled and nodded. All right. Ava hurried out of the room and went to the master bedroom. I watched her go, a smirk playing on my lips. Go ahead and play your games, I thought. Sooner or later, you'll play your sister right into my hands. The next morning, after breakfast, I drove Chloe to my office to show her the ropes. Before long, a young man with a buzz cut and 5 or 6 of his friends stormed in, looking for a fight. This was Kyle Brady, Chloe's boyfriend, a hot-headed kid in his early 20s. He pointed a finger in my face and started calling me an old creep, accusing me of taking advantage of Chloe. I figured Ava must have been stirring the pot, sending Kyle a picture of Chloe in my bed. That's why he was here, ready to throw down. As a young guy in his 20s, impulse and recklessness were his default settings, and his pride was everything. He'd fight anyone who dared to disrespect him. Chloe had no idea what was going on. She frowned and scolded Kyle for his behavior. What is wrong with you? Why are you yelling at my brother-in-law? Seeing his own girlfriend defending me pushed Kyle's jealousy into overdrive. You've known him one night and you're already taking his side? Did he treat you right last night? Huh? Was it good? Chloe was stunned. What are you talking about? Are you insane? Kyle shot back. You'd never even get a hotel room with me. I thought you were so proper. Turns out you're hooking up with some guy who's almost 30 behind my back. You're a real piece of work, you know that. The verbal assault was too much. Chloe snapped, slapping him hard across the face. Are you sick? Stop making trouble and get out of here. Now. Kyle was furious. He clenched his fists, wanted to hit her, but not daring to. Instead, he kicked over the decorative money tree in my office, then grabbed a mug from my desk and smashed it on the floor. He pointed at me again. You old bastard. You got a problem with me? Let's take this outside. His 5 friends rolled up their sleeves, ready for a brawl. I remained calm. I walked over to Kyle, and in one smooth motion, pulled the switchblade from my pocket and pressed the tip against his neck. I applied just enough pressure to draw a single drop of blood. Kyle was short to begin with, and just a kid. He'd never been in a situation like this. His face went pale, and his body started to tremble. His 5 friends were all cowards, too. Seeing how quickly things had turned violent, they froze, their lips trembling, too scared to even breathe. I raised my left hand and patted Kyle's cheek, a small, humiliating gesture. I leaned in close and whispered in his ear, I'll let you go this time. You ever come looking for trouble again, I'll kill you. Now get out. Kyle swallowed hard and practically ran out the door. His pathetic friends scrambled after him, tripping over each other like stray dogs. Chloe was completely bewildered by the whole thing. She collapsed to the floor, buried her face in her hands, and started to cry. I knelt beside her and spoke softly. He probably just misunderstood our relationship. Maybe you can talk to him later and clear things up. She sobbed quietly. I don't want to talk to him. He's so immature, always causing trouble. I sighed sympathetically. Well, you have to put up with it. After all, a mature guy like me is one of a kind. Chloe let out a small laugh through her tears. You're so full of yourself, Jake. Without either of us noticing, the distance between us had shrunk considerably, and I had Ava to thank for all of it. Ava tried to take me down twice and failed. I knew her next move would be even more vicious. A few days later, she walked into my office holding a pregnancy test. She told me she was pregnant, that the baby was mine, and that she wanted to get married. She wanted me to take responsibility. I froze. Are you sure this baby is mine? Her answer was firm. I've done the math. It's yours. Let's get married, Jake. Give our child a family. I thought for a moment. All right, I said. We'll go to the courthouse tomorrow. Ava threw her arms around me, ecstatic. Oh, Jake, I promise I'll treat you like a king from now on. I smiled. Good. Then the 3 of us will have a happy life together. Ava put the pregnancy test away and left, practically skipping. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Suddenly, my blood sugar crashed. I felt weak and dizzy with hunger. I went down to the diner, had a quick burger, and drank some hot coffee. I felt much better. The next morning, I put on a suit, grabbed a bouquet of roses, and drove to Ava's apartment complex. I texted her to come down, but she didn't reply. I waited a little longer, then tried calling. The call went straight to voicemail. I took the roses upstairs and used my spare key to open the door. Ava wasn't there. She was pregnant. Where could she have gone? I sat down on the sofa and noticed a few slices of watermelon on the coffee table. They were wilted and starting to smell off. Normally, if someone were home, they would have put leftovers in the fridge. Had Ava been gone all night? We have a local custom of holding a vigil for a loved one on the 1-week anniversary of their death. Last night was the 1-week mark for Dylan. I figured Ava had probably gone to hold some kind of vigil for him and gotten carried away, too grief-stricken to come home. I sighed, left the roses on the table, and went back to my office to work. Half an hour later, Detectives Baldwin and Jenkins walked in. I stood up to greet them. Detective Baldwin, what brings you here? Have you found who killed Dylan? Baldwin's face was grim. Ava Miller is dead. I was shocked. What? Ava's dead? How? She was burned to death, Baldwin said, in the same place where Dylan was found. I was even more stunned. How could that happen? You don't think she killed herself out of grief? Baldwin asked. Did you know she was pregnant? I nodded. Yes. She told me yesterday. She said the baby was mine. I wanted to give the child a family, so I told her we'd get married today. See, I even bought these flowers. We were supposed to go to the courthouse, but I couldn't get in touch with her. I can't believe she... Oh, God. Baldwin's expression was severe. Where were you at 11 p.m. last night? I sensed the mood shifting. Detective, what are you implying? You don't think I killed Ava, do you? Do you have an alibi? Baldwin asked. I was in my office working late. Until about 10, I said. Then I drove straight home and didn't leave again. You can check the traffic cameras. Besides, Ava was carrying my child. What possible reason would I have to kill her? Baldwin's eyes were hard as stone. What if the child wasn't yours? I frowned. What do you mean? Are you saying Ava was pregnant with someone else's baby and was lying to me? We ran a DNA comparison. The baby was Dylan Cole's. I was floored. My face turned green with rage. What? That? Seeing my genuine, furious reaction, Baldwin's suspicion seemed to waver. He and Jenkins left shortly after. I watched them go, a slow smile spreading across my face. I tossed the roses in the trash, leaned back in my chair, and propped my feet up on the desk, humming a little tune as I stared at the ceiling. The truth was, I already knew the baby wasn't mine. From the moment I discovered Ava and Dylan were working together, I had been careful. I would never let a venomous woman like that carry my child. After Ava's death, Kyle Brady went on a rampage online, slandering my name and calling me a murderer. He claimed I killed Dylan so I could have Ava all to myself. Then he claimed that when I got tired of Ava, I tried to force myself on Chloe, and when Ava wouldn't allow it, I killed her too. He told the story with such conviction that many people believed him. The media caught wind of the sensational case, a supposed love triangle turned serial killing, and started reporting on it with their own embellished details. Chloe confronted me directly, asking if I was the one who killed her sister. I looked her in the eye and said with total sincerity, if I'm the killer, I'll slip up eventually. If you suspect me, you can stay by my side and investigate. The moment you find a single shred of evidence, you can go straight to the police. Determined to find a real killer, Chloe decided to stay with me. I gave her a suggestion. Why don't you start a social media channel? Call it Justice for Ava. It might just take off. Chloe thought it was a good idea and started a TikTok account. A lot of people following the case were eager for updates, and within a month, she had over 50,000 followers. Ava's death had unexpectedly become my key to viral fame. She had always wanted to drain me of my money, but in the end, I was the one profiting from her. Under my guidance, Chloe slowly became a professional content creator, earning $2,000 or $3,000 a month, far more than anyone else her age. She was grateful to me for showing her a new path in life. One night, under a full moon, she sent me a text, inviting me over for dinner. I arrived with 99 roses. She was sitting at the dining table, wearing a loose-fitting white button-down shirt. The table was set with a lavish dinner, a bottle of red wine, and 2 white candles. A gentle breeze drifted in, making the candle flames dance. I smiled, sat down at the table, drank the wine, ate the meal, and then I devoured her. The rose petals scattered across the floor, falling into the pools of moonlight and creating ripples of pure white. 10 days later, Chloe came to my office holding a pregnancy test with 2 distinct lines. She got straight to the point. You know, that was my first time. I pulled out the engagement ring I'd already bought. Let's get married. When Kyle found out Chloe was going to marry me, he went ballistic. He not only trashed me online, but also viciously attacked Chloe, calling her shameless for seducing her brother-in-law. He even publicly vowed to haunt me for the rest of my life, promising he would find the evidence to prove I killed both Ava and Dylan. I sat in my office, reading his comments with a calm smile. The first 2 people who tried to ruin my life were dead. Did he really think he'd last long? A few days later, Chloe came to my office to discuss wedding plans. She brought up Kyle. I heard from a friend that Kyle is planning to crash our wedding and make a scene. I just laughed. Don't worry about him. We should still be careful, she said, worried. I held her close and soothed her. It's fine. I'm here. He won't be able to cause any trouble. She snuggled into my arms, her smile sweet. Okay. The office door creaked open. It was Detective Baldwin and Detective Jenkins. I smiled. Detective, did you catch the killer? Baldwin's face was grim. Kyle Brady is dead. Chloe was shocked. Kyle's dead? No way. How? Burned to death, Baldwin said, just like Ava and Dylan. Jenkins stared at me with a hint of hostility. Where were you at 1 a.m. last night? I sighed. You can't be serious. You suspect me again? People connected to you keep turning up burned to death, one after another, Baldwin said. If you were us, wouldn't you suspect you? His logic was blunt, but he had a point. I was the obvious suspect. Understanding his position, I cooperated patiently. I left work at 7 p.m. last night and went home with Chloe. We were together the entire night. She can vouch for me. Chloe nodded. That's right. Jake was home with me all night. Baldwin couldn't see any sign that they were lying. He pressed on. I heard from Kyle's friends that he came to your office to cause trouble. Why didn't you file a police report? My tone was sincere. If I reported it, he would have had a criminal record. I didn't want to ruin his life. Baldwin let out a dry laugh. So, you're a saint now? I smiled. I always have been. The pressure was clearly getting to Baldwin. The case had attracted widespread media attention, and his superiors had given him an ultimatum. find the killer in 1 month, or his job as lead detective was gone. He glared at me, his eyes wide and intense, as if he wanted to beat a confession out of me. But in the end, he just sighed and walked away. He didn't go far, though. He started tailing me. I knew he was investigating me, but I didn't care. I hadn't killed anyone. I had nothing to fear. Life went on as usual. A month later, deep into autumn, the air crisp and cold, Baldwin asked me to meet him at a steakhouse. He told me he'd been demoted. He was now a junior detective, replaced by some young hotshot from upstairs. As we ate and drank, he couldn't hide his frustration. As we were about to leave, he couldn't help but ask, "How the hell did you do it? Do you have a professional hitman on your payroll?" I laughed. "Detective, you've been watching too many movies. There's no such thing as professional hitmen." "Then tell me," he pressed, "what really happened?" I smiled and refilled his glass. "Detective, life isn't a movie. Not every mystery has an answer." Baldwin let out a long sigh. His attempt to get a confession had failed. He made one last threat. "I'm going to be watching you. You'll slip up one of these days." I gave him a weary smile. "Sure, watch me all you want." He was like an ant on a hot pan, a lost sheep in the fog. "How can you be so confident you won't get caught?" I smiled. "Because I really didn't kill them." I went on with my life, working in my agency. Whenever I got hungry, I'd go down to the diner below my office for a bite. The owner used to be a young guy in his late 20s, but now was a man in his 50s, an older guy named Mr. Grant. He was the previous owner's father. I asked him, "Where's Leo?" "Mr. Grant said he's gone." "I'm sorry for your loss, sir." "Mr. Grant smiled faintly. He said these last few months were the most satisfying of his life. He wanted me to thank you." Leo's full name was Leo Grant. His real name had been Leo Peterson. 3 years ago, he had passed the civil service exam and landed a great job with the city. Full of ambition, he met Ava Miller through a dating app. Ava was the epitome of tenderness, treating him like a king. Leo fell for her fast and hard, swearing he would marry her. He scraped together every penny he had, totaling $368,000, for what she called a down payment on their future home. Once Ava had the money, she slowly revealed her true colors, refusing all contact with him. One night, in a desperate, drunken state, Leo tried to force himself on her. Ava immediately called the police. Leo was convicted of attempted rape and sent to prison for 1.5 years. The government job he had worked so hard for was gone. The life savings he'd handed over were gone. His life was in ruins. After his release, he couldn't find work. He changed his name and quietly moved back to his hometown, opening a small diner. His bright future had been destroyed by Ava. Every time he thought about it, he was consumed by a burning rage, smoking pack after pack of cigarettes through sleepless nights. 6 months ago, he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. He couldn't accept dying like that. He wanted revenge, to kill Ava before he died, but he could never find her. When I first grew suspicious of Ava, I used my connections to investigate her past. That trail led me to Leo. I contacted him and told him my story. Leo begged me to help him find Ava and Dylan, so he could finally settle the score and die in peace. I was more than happy to oblige. I told him everything I knew. That night, when Leo learned that Dylan was hiding out at the abandoned chemical plant, he waited for him to fall asleep, knocked him unconscious, and then tied him up. He spent the entire night torturing him, releasing years of pent-up fury. When Ava went to the plant to mourn Dylan, Leo killed her in the same way. As for Kyle Brady, he had repeatedly harassed and threatened Chloe, and had sworn to make my life a living hell. Leo said if you're going to kill 2, you might as well kill 3. So he took care of my problem for me. Leo was a man of honor. In another time, he would have been hailed as a righteous warrior. I like to think I'm one too. I will take care of his parents for the rest of their lives. All our communication was done face-to-face. No texts, no voicemails, no record. Now that Leo is gone, the case is officially cold. Baldwin had suspected Leo at one point, but Leo's father provided him with a solid alibi, so he didn't pursue it further. Besides, Baldwin was so fixated on me that he couldn't see anyone else. On the day Chloe and I got married, our parents, friends, and old classmates were all there to celebrate. We were ecstatic. We even posted our wedding video online. Many well-wishers commented, calling us a picture-perfect couple, made for each other. Of course, plenty of armchair detectives chimed in too. Some said I was the killer, that I'd murder my ex to be with her younger sister. Others claimed Chloe was a psychopath who had conspired with me to kill her own sister. The online arguments raged on, but eventually they all faded into dust, becoming the very soil that nourished our new life. Chloe and I became internet celebrities. One day, a famous director of suspense films, a Mr. Chun contacted us. He wanted to buy the rights to our story for $1 million to turn it into a movie. There's one requirement for movies in this country, Mr. Chun said. At the end of the story, the killer has to be brought to justice. Can you give me an idea? Who was the killer? I thought for a moment. How about you write that the killer was my evil twin brother? Mr. Chun shook his head. Too cliché. Multiple personality disorder. Outdated. The killer was a ghost. The censors would never approve it. I threw my hands up. Fine. Just write that I was the killer. But you have a rock-solid alibi, Mr. Chun said. It doesn't make sense logically. I gave him a wry smile. Forget it. The rights aren't for sale. Don't be like that, he pleaded. Think of something else. I paused, then looked at Mr. Chun. The killer is you. You're a crazed artist who, in order to create the perfect story, manufactured a real-life, unsolved mystery. Then, you use your film to confess everything to the audience. Mr. Chun nodded slowly. Interesting. A few months later, our children were born. A beautiful pair of fraternal twins. The boy looks like me, and the girl looks like Chloe. They both love to smile, and their laughter can heal anything. For their first birthday party, we booked the best hotel in the county and invited all our friends and family to celebrate. Mark Baldwin came. He told me that the young detective who had replaced him got caught up in a corruption scandal, taking the deputy chief down with him. Through a strange twist of fate, Baldwin had been promoted to fill the vacancy. He was now deputy chief of police. I smiled. Congratulations, Chief Baldwin. Deputy Chief, Baldwin corrected with a smile. I also came here to apologize. I was too fixated on closing the case before, too quick to judge. That's why I was so hard on you. I waved it off. It's all in the past. Baldwin said, I've learned to take things as they come now. If I get promoted, great. If not, that's fine too. The important thing is to serve the people. With an attitude like that, you'll be the chief in no time, I said with a laugh. I wouldn't dare to dream, he chuckled. Then his tone shifted. But, just out of curiosity, who really was the killer? At that moment, Leo's father, Mr. Grant, walked into the hotel ballroom with a smile. He saw Detective Baldwin and froze. The three of us looked at each other, and the air in the room slowly turned to ice.